Thank you everyone for being here. And I am really excited to talk about the financial planning process today and offer some suggestions on how to choose a financial advisor. This is my second year in a row presenting at the library, San Francisco Public Library. And I thought I bored the audience to death last year, which is why I was really surprised when Jonathan reached out again this year. So guys, I do apologize in advance for the next 40 minutes or so that you will have to spend just listening to a monotonous voice with an Indian accent and no video that I can display today due to technical issues. So forgive me for that. But okay, let's get serious now. But before we get started, I will have to read this disclaimer. BR Squared LLC is a registered investment advisor. Information presented is for educational purposes only and does not, just a second. Okay, and does not intend to make an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any specific securities, investments, or investment strategies. Investments involve risk and unless otherwise stated are not guaranteed. Be sure to first consult with a qualified financial advisor and/or tax professional before implementing any strategy discussed herein. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. Okay, now let's get to the point. Okay. I'm trying to see how to move on to the next slide. Okay. So let's start with this. What is financial planning? The CFP board describes financial planning as a collaborative process that helps maximize a client's potential for meeting life goals through financial advice that integrates relevant elements of the client's personal and financial circumstances. I know that is quite a mouthful, right? But just to put this in simple words, all this means is that you and your financial advisor will work together as a team whose objective is to help you achieve your financial goals. And although every financial planner has their individual working style and process, I will try to give you a general idea of what the comprehensive financial planning process might look like to you as a client. Okay. So like most other interactions in life, this process starts with an introductory meeting. Let's say your friend, colleague, or tax consultant refers you to this financial planner and you reach out to them. The planner will try to set up a meeting with you. So this could be a phone call or an in-person meeting. And the purpose of this initial meeting will be to mutually decide if you and the financial planner are the right fit for each other. In this meeting, the financial planner will try to grasp an overview of your current situation by asking you questions about your personal and financial circumstances. They might ask you about your age, your family situation, your income, savings, investment assets, financial goals, expectations, and more. This preliminary assessment will help the financial planner decide whether or not they are in a position to assist you and to also define the scope of the engagement. The financial planner will then go over the financial planning process and set expectations and timelines. They will discuss their fees and terms of service and also answer any questions that you might have. Now, take your time to absorb and understand this information. And do not hesitate to ask any pertinent questions before you sign up for the plan. Now, on my last slide of the presentation here, I will offer some suggestions on what kind of questions should you ask the financial advisor before signing on. So this introductory meeting will typically last for about 30 minutes or so, and most financial planners do not charge a fee for this meeting. And after this, if both parties agree to proceed, the next step is to sign a financial planning agreement, which is essentially a legal contract between a professional organization and a client that defines their business relationship. Now, before you sign this agreement, the financial advisor will also give you copies of their disclosure documents, such as the ADV 2A, 2B, privacy policy statements. Take your time to go through these documents. This will have their disclosures, conflict of interest, information. The 2B will have personal information about them, such as their education, their experience, and whether or not they have been subject to any scrutiny or any disciplinary action. So read the ADVs, ask the financial planner any questions that you have based on those documents. And then, of course, the next step is you sign the agreement. So the financial planning, now let's talk about fees. So how much does a financial plan typically cost? So a comprehensive financial plan can cost anywhere between, say, $1,500 to about $6,000 or even upwards. And this depends on your location. So, for instance, it's going to be a lot more expensive in a city like San Francisco as compared to, say, somewhere in Wyoming. So this also depends on the organization that you're working with, and it depends on your financial planner's credentials and experience. And most importantly, the fees will depend on the complexity of your plan, and also upon whether or not the financial planner has implementation and monitoring responsibilities. I'll talk about those later in detail. Okay, next slide here. Okay, so say you've signed the agreement. Now, what happens next? You've agreed to work with this person. So next, the financial planner will collaborate with you to obtain all relevant information to work on your plan. They will discuss your goals, needs, priorities, family situation, value and attitude towards saving and investing. We'll ask you about your the life expectancy general in your family, your health condition, your risk tolerance. So we're trying to get to know you, and this is called collecting qualitative information. So we are trying to get to understand your values, attitude towards money, so we can help you better. Other than this, your financial planner will also ask you for copies of financial documents. So this is going to be, they'll ask you for your pay stubs, your employee benefit booklet, maybe your income, gift, and trust tax returns, your estate planning documents, loan statements such as mortgage, credit card, student loan. Then we'll ask you for latest account statements for all your investment accounts, your 401ks, IRAs, brokerage accounts, 529 plans, your bank statements. So this, I mean, it's quite a bit. It can be a bit overwhelming to collect all that information. And especially if you're not an organized person, this is going to be an excruciating and time-consuming process for you. But towards the end of the plan, you will be thankful to the planner for helping you get your financial life in order. So I understand for you as a client, this is probably going to be the most time-consuming step. But do not hesitate to ask your planner any questions or to seek help in how to get organized here if you have difficulties. So now, equipped with this qualitative and quantitative information obtained from you, your financial planner is now ready to conduct a preliminary analysis of your financial situation. So having broadly reviewed your current financial situation, so this is just a broad analysis. We haven't gotten down to the actual intricacies yet of the plan. So we broadly look at all the documents that you've given us, and then we apply reasonable assumptions and estimates about life expectancy, inflation rates, tax rates, investment returns, cost of living in your specific location, etc. And now, after having seen all this, we are ready to discuss our initial assessment with you and help you establish and prioritize defined and realistic goals. And trust me, we will let you know if your goals or expectations are unrealistic. So your goals might include retirement planning, or say paying for your child's college education, or optimizing taxes, or getting a second opinion on your investment portfolio, or perhaps debt management, or maybe, saving for a new home, or let's say passing on wealth to your heirs in the most tax efficient way, amongst others. So by the end of this second meeting, which will run for about an hour or two, you and your financial planner will have set well-defined goals. So what happens next? We've helped you set goals. So what do we do with all the information that we've collected? We start analyzing it. So here's how we do this. So first, we look at all the data. Now, the goal here is to analyze and evaluate your current financial situation so we can formulate specific financial planning recommendations to help you achieve your goals. So these have to be recommendations that are specific to your case. It cannot and should not be a generic plan. We have to analyze all the data that is specific to you. So first, we start by organizing the data and preparing financial statements like, say, balance sheets, income statement. And then we compute financial ratios such as emergency fund ratio, your housing ratio, total debt ratio, your debt to total assets ratio, your savings rate, your investment assets to gross pay, your return on investments, your net worth, and it goes on and on. I know it's quite a lot. And there's a lot of number crunching that goes on at this stage. And I mean, what can I say? We financial planners, we just love numbers. So this is a long process. So when we look at these ratios, and what do we do with them? Next, we compare them with benchmarks. So how do you compare with someone who is in a similar situation as you? That is one. And what else do we do with the ratios? We link these ratios to your specific goals. So yes, there are benchmarks, but again, we want to customize it to your exact needs and goals. So we try and link the ratios to your specific goals after this. So how do we do this? Now, this all sounds a bit much. So let me just give you an example to help you understand how this is done. So for instance, if one of your goals was retirement planning, we look at your remaining work-life expectancy, which is, how many more years are you planning on working? Then we look at your retirement life expectancy. So this is for how long does your money have to last in retirement? Then we look at the income that you might need during retirement. Then we check your current savings rate. How much are you saving every year? The rate of return currently that you earn on your investments. Then we look at sources of retirement income. Say, do you have any pension that you can collect or social security? After this, we account for the expected inflation and return on investments. And then we finally compute the amount that you will need to comfortably retire at your desired retirement age. Now we analyze, so after all this number crunching, we tell you, okay, this is how much you need to be able to retire at, say, age 65, if that is your desired retirement age. But that's just one piece of the puzzle. Now, this is how much you need, but will you get there? And if not, how will you get there? So this is what we do. We analyze your current savings rate and the return on investments for adequacy. If we determine that your current course of action is not optimum for meeting your retirement goal, we come up with a plan to maximize your potential for achieving this goal. So we might recommend, for instance, say, increasing your 401k contribution, or we might recommend reallocating your investment portfolio to better fit your risk tolerance and financial goals. Or maybe in some cases, we might recommend extending your remaining work-life expectancy by a year. So we might ask you to consider working for a year longer than you had anticipated. Or we can offer other suggestions too based on your specific case. So with all this in the entire process, investment planning and tax optimization techniques are integrated at every stage throughout your plan. So we do see the tax implications of asking you to, say, contribute to a traditional 401k versus a Roth 401k. Which one makes better sense for you? And investment planning, of course, is essential for almost every goal. So, are you getting the adequate amount of return on your investments? Is your investment portfolio aligned with your risk tolerance so that you can achieve your goals? So, that is integrated at every stage for every goal. Besides that, we also look at risk management. So, protecting your assets and providing for your loved ones in case of untimely death, disability, accidents, health issues, or other risk factors is really important. So, your financial planner will review your existing insurance portfolio and notify you of any inadequacies and recommend the adequate amount of insurance required for covering catastrophic risk exposures. Your financial planner can also assist you with estate planning strategies while navigating different aspects of gift tax and estate tax planning to help achieve an efficient and effective transfer of wealth, considering legal, tax, and personal objectives. Now, we look at all your goals individually, of course, but what we also do is that besides analyzing them separately, we look at the interrelationship of the goals to see how one goal might affect another goal in the larger scheme of things. So, for instance, if you want to fully fund your child's college education, how will that impact your retirement planning? So, we look at the entire picture because all of us have limited resources. We did help you establish goals, we did help you prioritize them. Now, we want to see how those goals will work together with each other because there is, as I said, there are limited resources and we have to allocate those resources wisely. So so we look at the entire picture. We look at the numbers. We look at your goals, the interrelationship of goals, your family, employment, and tax situation. We also consider the current economic, social, legal, political, and tax environment, and accordingly formulate clear and specific recommendations to help you achieve your financial goals. The financial planner will usually spend anywhere between, let's say, 10 hours to 30 hours or more at this stage, depending upon the complexity of your plan. So let me go back to this slide here. Okay, so once we are done with step 4, behind the scenes, okay, we did step 4, we did step 5, select and prioritize goals. Now, after we've done that, we are ready to present our recommendations. So we set up another meeting with you to walk you through our analysis and recommendations. Based on your feedback, we might make alterations to the plan in order to make it more doable for you. So for instance, if, our initial recommendation was, say, try to save an additional $2,000 a month, but you come back and tell us, no, this is not possible for me. We might, we might suggest considering working for a year longer than you had hoped for. So we try to see where your comfort zone is, what can you easily achieve. So our goal here is, to see you succeed. So, and we try to make this process as comfortable as we possibly can for you, while also steering you in the right direction. So this is a fine balance here of what you need to do and what you can do. So we try to strike that balance to get the optimum result for you. Your financial planner will probably give you a PDF copy of your financial plan, and otherwise, they might give you online access to it, like a link to a portal where your plan is uploaded. Now, this depends on how the organization operates. And this is going to be a long meeting. It'll probably last a couple of hours or so. Could probably be your last meeting with the financial planner once they've delivered the plan, now, unless they also have implementation and monitoring responsibilities. Okay. Now, mere good intentions and this PDF document outlining your financial plan are of no use unless you follow through on the recommendations. That is the most important part. Now, certain recommendations might be easy to implement, such as increasing your 401k contribution, or calling your auto insurance provider to get a quote for personal liability umbrella policy. We might recommend that. Or maybe, we might ask you to increase your tax withholding to avoid penalties. But there are certain other recommendations that will require more effort, time, and coordination with other financial professionals. So if your financial planner has implementation responsibilities, now this will be defined in your financial planning agreement at the start of the relationship. So if they have implementation responsibilities, they will identify and analyze actions, products, and services best suited for your case. In most cases, implementation will require coordination with other professionals like estate attorneys. So we might recommend that you set up a trust. So you will have to see an estate attorney for that, or insurance agents, or tax consultants, and probably even investment managers. And the cost of these products and services is usually independent of the financial planning fees, and this varies depending on the actual product or service selected. Certain financial advisory firms offer these implementation tools at their firm, while some might recommend non-affiliated professionals. Now, once we've implemented the recommendations, once, say, you've implemented most of the recommendations that were set for you, next, it's also important to periodically check your progress towards your goals. You have to see whether those recommendations are actually working for you or not. And if not, you have to make adjustments to your plan. You should also revisit your plan in case of any major life changes, such as, say, getting married, having a child, or you got a new job. You have to revisit the plan and see how things have changed. If you need to tweak the plan to better suit your current lifestyle, or if there have been any changes in the external environment, such as the tax laws have changed, that is when you need to revisit your plan again. The financial planner and the client will establish whether the financial planner has monitoring and updating responsibilities while setting the terms of the engagement. Now, this was again done in your agreement that was signed initially. Certain financial advisory firms charge a retainer fee for providing such service, while some other firms might bundle this with other services provided, such as asset management. So, for instance, for the clients whose assets I manage, I conduct an annual review for them, and every year I also update the financial plan. And a couple of times a year, probably a couple of times a year, I call them to see if there have been any changes in their financial circumstances and if their plan requires updating. So this is bundled with asset management. Now, some firms will charge you a retainer fee, so you can reach them, you can reach an advisor, and they'll answer any question that you have. And there are other firms who can charge you a separate fee every time the service is requested. So every time you need consultation, you will be charged a fee, an hourly fee generally. So it depends on what you need here. If you need constant support, you might, consider signing a retainer, or if you feel your plan is good for 5 years or at least 2 to 3 years, and then you probably might just consider, signing up for a separate fee every time you need help. So it depends from case to case. Now, to summarize all this, the process, so the financial planning process starts with an introductory meeting. We then collect qualitative and quantitative information from you to work on your plan. Next, we conduct a preliminary analysis meeting with you to discuss our initial assessment and help you establish and prioritize realistic goals. Then, after numerous computations and intense analysis, we present our recommendations to help you achieve your financial goals. Next comes implementation of these recommendations, followed by periodically monitoring your progress towards your financial goals, and finally, updating your financial plan as required. Okay. So I'm sure getting an overview of the financial planning process has helped you understand the importance of having a financial plan. So to tie this all together, A financial plan is like a roadmap which analyzes your starting destination. So we look at your current financial situation, that is your starting destination. We identify obstacles along the way. So we do a risk assessment. Now, after that, we give you clear direction. The plan gives you clear direction. So we give you specific recommendations while suggesting the best route. So this has to be done in an efficient and effective way. So there is optimum utilization of resources to help you reach your final destination, that is, achieve your financial goals. Your financial planner will help you get your financial life in order, educate and coach you, create accountability, all while objectively steering you away from making emotionally driven financial decisions. So I think the most important thing that a financial planner brings to this relationship is objectivity. We can objectively look at the numbers and give you recommendations that are free of emotions. Finally, this process will bring you the confidence that with clear direction, you can accomplish your financial goals. And contrary to popular belief here, financial planning is just not only for the rich people or for people of a certain age. Almost everyone can benefit from having a trusted partner, a sounding board, a voice of reason who can guide them through life by helping them make rational financial decisions. Okay. Next slide. Okay, so now that we've learned the importance of having a financial plan, let's figure out how to choose the right financial advisor. So a few years back, I watched this Jennifer Lopez movie called Hustlers, and this movie told the tale of a bunch of entrepreneurial women, if I can say that, who had no qualms about conning the notorious and wealthy Wall Street brokers because, in their opinion, these guys were con artists and hustlers themselves. So the movie, it got me thinking about how financial professionals sometimes carry a bad reputation and whether that was justified. Without being judgmental, it is fair to say that there are good and bad people in every profession. So that being said, there are certain parameters that you as a client should consider before working with a financial advisor to increase your odds of having a positive experience. Now, here are some suggestions. Number one, fiduciary. So, a financial advisor who is held to fiduciary standards is required by law to act in your best interest at all times, above all else, when providing financial advice. So, not all advisors operate at a fiduciary level. Some only fulfill the suitability obligation. So, what does that mean? That means that while their recommendations need to be suitable for a client, they don't necessarily have to be the best option for their clients. So they can recommend that's good enough for you, but doesn't have to be the best option. Working with an advisor who is legally obligated to work in a fiduciary capacity increases your odds of receiving financial advice that best fits your objectives. Registered investment advisory firms and CFP professionals who provide financial planning services, amongst others, are held to the duty of care of a fiduciary. Number two, you look for competence. But how do you do that? How do you know if someone is good at their job? Because from brokers, insurance salesmen to even the teller in your bank, anyone can call themselves a financial advisor. And all of these professionals do have their own areas of expertise. However, if you're looking for someone who can offer comprehensive financial advice driven by your individual financial goals, it might help to work with a certified financial planner. Now, here is why. So, to earn the CFP designation, financial planners have to hold at least a bachelor's degree They have to take extensive specialized coursework ranging from topics like investment planning, retirement planning, income tax planning, estate planning, insurance planning, education planning. And next, they have to pass a rigorous exam, which has a low pass rate, accrue 3 years of relevant work experience, and complete at least 30 hours of continuing education every 2 years. So, working with someone who is held to strict ethical and professional standards and has put in the time and effort to gain expertise in their field of service is definitely a positive start. Number three, compensation. So, advisors can get compensated in several ways, such as fees, commissions, or sometimes even a combination of both. Anytime you work with an advisor, make sure you clearly understand the scope of the service being provided to you and how the advisor will be compensated for that service. Flat fees for services like financial planning or asset management fees based on the size of the assets are generally easier for the client to track and understand, and possibly also put the advisor in a better position to offer unbiased and conflict free advice relative to commission based compensation. The commission based compensation has its place. There are times when you will need to buy products that will pay the advisor commission. But irrespective of whether you're charged a fee or your advisor earns a commission, they should go over all associated fees and expenses with you with total clarity before any transaction. So you should know exactly what you're paying for and how much you're paying for it. Number four, accessibility. If you're looking for holistic financial planning advice, find someone who takes the time to get to know you and understands your goals and priorities and your unique financial situation. Talk to your friends, family, and colleagues to get recommendations. An initial meeting or an introductory call with an advisor can help you assess their approach and give you an idea about how they conduct their practice. Your advisor should understand and address your concerns promptly and should be easily accessible. This person should always be honest and realistic with you about your financial situation, irrespective of what the situation might look like. Non judgmental, but realistic. You don't need a people pleaser, you want someone who can tell you the hard truth. If you're going to share your financial goals, hopes, and dreams with someone and trust them with your hard earned assets, make sure that you have done your due diligence in finding the right person for the job. So, to ascertain that you have done your due diligence, I would like to direct you to this article on the CFP board's site, which I'm quoting here. So, the link is up there. Let's make a plan.org slash how to choose a financial planner slash 10 questions to ask your financial planner. So, I'll just go over these questions quickly. So, first, you ask them, what are your qualifications and credentials? So, ask about the advisor's credentials and work experience and see how it relates to his or her current practice. What services do you offer? Ask your advisor what products, services, and advice he or she can offer that will match your needs. Will you have a fiduciary duty towards me? So this one's important. You have to know whether or not the advisor is legally going to work in your best interest, is legally bound to work in your best interest. Number four, what is your approach to financial planning? Now, ask the advisor if he or she will create a comprehensive financial plan for you. Also ask if he or she will implement the plan and recommendations and or work with other professionals to do so. Number five, what type of clients do you typically work with? So you can ask them for the median age of their clients, the median net worth, the median income. So you have to you have to gauge here whether this advisor is familiar or has worked with clients who are in a similar situation as you. Number 6, will you be the only advisor working with me? Or will there be a team of professionals working together? Or will you outsource my plan to a junior associate? So you have to know the answers to these questions. Number 7, how will I pay for your services? So be clear on the amount and structure of the advisor's compensation. Number 8, how much do you typically charge? Is there a range for financial planning fees or your asset management fees? What is the range? What are the typical the parameters that you consider before charging fees? Okay. Number 9, do others stand to gain from the financial advice you give me? Now, this is a tricky one, and it's hard to ask this, but it is your right to know. So ask the advisor to describe any potential conflicts of interest. This is how you can ask them. For example, advisors who sell insurance policies, securities, or mutual funds may have a business relationship with the companies that provide these products. You get to decide whether to accept the conflict or work with someone else. So, having conflicts of interest is not unusual in this industry, but they have to be disclosed. And it is your right as a client to decide whether you are okay working with the advisor after knowing the conflicts of interest. Number 10, this is really tricky. How do you ask someone this question? But again, you have to, you're trying to protect yourself here. So number 10, have you ever been publicly disciplined for any unlawful or unethical actions in your career? Now, you can also find information on financial advisors who are subject to FINRA or SEC oversight on FINRA's broker check, or on SEC's site. It's called advisorinfo.sec.gov. So you can type the name of the financial advisor there, and you can look up their record before you sign up with the advisor. So, okay. So that brings us to the end of my presentation. That is it from me. Well, thank you all for attending. And now I can see if there are any questions for me. Okay, Jonathan, you can take over. Let me see. Okay.
Thank you so much. So there were a lot of good questions in the chat. Are you able to see those and
okay,
address those?
Let me see if I can access that. Okay. Can we get the slides? So, Sylvia, the library has recorded this session, and I believe they're going to post it on their YouTube channel in a couple of weeks, right, Jonathan?
Yeah, so everyone will receive a link to a recording of this presentation. That'll be a Zoom recording. And then, yeah, sometime in the next few weeks, it'll be posted on YouTube. But anyone who's in this meeting right now, you should receive a link later today with the recording.
Okay, perfect. So Laura is asking, is it okay to use more than one financial planners? I don't know how to answer that. It is okay, I guess, but I do believe too many cooks spoil the broth. But you can get a second opinion, yes, if you're not happy with your advisor. Okay, we will be sending a link. Thank you. The PPT file would be so much smaller than an hour-long video if possible. PPT is preferred. I'll see if I can work on that. The issue here is the PPT file. There's not much information there. Most of it was me talking about the brief information that was provided on the slide. So I'm not sure how useful that's going to be. Okay, let us see. Romy, thank you. Can we get your email, please? Okay, my email is my website is listed on here on the last slide, www.br2financialplanning.com. My email is Rachna, Rachna, that's my first name, at br2financialplanning.com. Please advance the slides. I think we are a few slides behind. You can catch up when Jonathan sends you the link, Claire. Okay, Catherine, what software does Rachna use for financial planning? What is her view of fees versus non-fee financial planners? What training is, okay, a lot of questions there. What training is optimal for a financial planner to have? For example, hiring one with CFP certification is top priority. It depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for holistic, comprehensive financial planning advice, then it makes sense to work with the CFP. Views of fees versus non-fee financial planners. So but nothing in life is free. So I do believe, so if someone is, not charging you for a plan, there is probably something else going on in the back. Maybe they're trying to sell you insurance and it's just being masked as, you get a free financial plan, but then they'll try to push the insurance product. So for it to be, in my opinion, for the advice to be conflict free, if you pay for the financial planning fees, that is probably a better option. But again, depends on what you're looking for. What software do I use for financial planning? So I do have a software which I use for financial planning, but I use Money Guide, but it's the last thing that I do before I use the software. Most of my analysis is conducted on, I do it the old fashioned way with the paper, pen, and a financial calculator. I mean, my dad, he's an old time money lender back in India. So I learned to compute compound interest at the age of 5. So this is what I do. This is what I love to do. So, and I'm a math geek, so with an engineering degree. So I do all of my computations on pen, paper with a financial calculator. I do feel those are easier for the client to understand. They get direct answers. And yes, I do feed all the information on a software, which almost anyone can do, but the software does have its advantages. It gives you a Monte Carlo analysis, shows you your odds of achieving success. So yes, that's the software I use, okay, let's see. Any tips on how to figure out what my risk tolerance is? How do you determine risk? Good question here, Karen. So risk tolerance is dependent on a lot of factors. It depends on your age, your income, how much have you saved so far, what is your experience with investments, and this is very individual. It has to be assessed on a case-to-case basis. So this is, I think, the most important thing for an advisor to evaluate before giving out investment planning advice. And again, I cannot give you generic advice, but I can tell you that it's based on several factors like your life stage, again, as I mentioned, income, assets, your financial goals, experience with investments, all of that. Many financial planners don't have expertise with income tax planning. How do you find one who's reputable and has this experience besides asking people you know? So as I mentioned, certified financial planners do have to go through extensive tax planning strategies, and we incorporate that in every stage of the plan. Because we cannot file returns for you. That is what an enrolled agent is meant for. But yeah, so try and find a CFP. Most of them, I mean, all of us, we go through rigorous training for income tax planning, so that might help. What is a typical hourly consultation rate? How do you bill for time less than 1 hour? So again, this depends on firm to firm. Every firm is different. I'd say in San Francisco, the typical hourly consultation rate should be around, maybe between $200 to $500 in that range. And I am not sure how firms bill for time less than an hour. It's not just the time that they spend talking to you and an advisor is billing you. The time that's factored is the time that they utilize to prep for the meeting, to present their recommendations, to work on your case. So my estimate is it's rarely going to be less than an hour. Should one get a financial plan first or get a will done first? Oh, well, both are two different things and totally important. Everyone needs a will. Most people need a trust set up also for estate planning purposes. So both, if you can do both. But when you do work with a financial planner, they will also offer recommendations on estate planning. So they of course, cannot prepare the will and trust, set up the trust for you. That only an estate lawyer can do. But we can suggest, what kind of a trust is best suited for someone in your case, or what estate planning documents should you be having in order. Okay, how do you ensure that someone is a fiduciary? Anyone can say they're a fiduciary and some maybe not. That is correct. As I mentioned, you can ask in writing, and if the financial advisor is a CFP, the CFP, certified financial planner, is bound to be a fiduciary. If you work with a registered investment advisory firms, those are fiduciaries. So besides that, you can always ask for the person to give it to you in writing. And most times their websites will have information on whether they are a fiduciary or not. These are great questions. Okay. Is there a way to see a planner's credentials or if any actions have been taken against them? Yes, there certainly is. As I mentioned earlier, you can check on the CFP board website. They have information there. Also, on if the advisor is registered with FINRA or the SEC, you can check on advisorinfo.sec.gov. So that is, you enter the advisor's name and you check. So there you can even pull up their ADV 2A, 2B, their information on, whether there has been any action taken against them. What does Rachna use to ensure all electronic information is kept safe from hacking and stealing? A lot, but I'm not going to go into the details over here. It's not pertinent to the conversation today. So what is, okay, which includes sensitive, yes. There's a lot that we do, secure servers to physical security, all of that, yes. Please give us the website to check for financial analysts background. Okay, I'm going to type it here. Let me just confirm it on my phone that I'm entering the right, okay. TV, okay. ADVISER, advisor info.sec.gov. Okay. Now, what else? Website. Can you give the website for planners disability? Okay, I just entered that, advisorinfo.sec.gov, or if they're broker, yes, brokercheck.finra.org. How do you recommend we start looking for a financial advisor, Google, Yelp, our bank, etc.? Good question, Rio. So I would recommend first talking to your friends, your colleagues, family members to see if they worked with an advisor that they're happy with. Word of mouth referrals are always the best way to go. You can ask your tax consultant, your lawyer for recommendations. The CFP board has a site, letsmakeaplan.org, where you can search for professionals within your area, CFP professionals, and interview them, have that initial introductory call with them and see if the person is right for you. And then, of course, do the background check and take it from there. If we need 8,000 a month, how much? Oh my God, this is I will need my calculator for this. And you'll probably need to speak with an advisor. I would suggest signing up through the San Francisco Library's page where you can actually be connected to a financial advisor. So I work with advisors, give back pro bono, and then we can happily answer that question for you. Okay, are financial planning fees generally collected upfront or at the completion of plan or over time? Again, depends on the organization, but they're usually collected upfront, but rarely 6 months in advance. So you'll be asked to pay upfront, but the plan will be delivered to you latest within 6 months. So that is how most organizations work, but again, it depends from firm to firm. Where will I find people to help my aunt when her spouse recently passed away? There are specific tax consequences, etc. Probate lawyers don't specifically know tax or financial matters. We don't know how and where to begin for help. Appreciate any pointers. I am so sorry, Angela, for what you're going through. Yes, probate lawyers, but some of them do have information about tax and financial matters. In fact, most of them are supposed to have that kind of information. But yes, it can be tricky. So if you do work with a certified financial planner, they can coordinate with your estate lawyer, with your tax attorney, or your enrolled agent, and work together as a team. So but before that, when you do interview a financial planner, you can speak to them about your specific situation and make sure that they will be able to assist you with this. Is it best to have your financial planner in your state of residence or not? So important nowadays, but things are virtual nowadays, so it helps. Or if uh, I don't know. I mean, if you're old fashioned like me, I like to meet the person at least once in person. But the things are done virtually nowadays, so maybe it's not that important. Again, depends on your preference. Rachna, did you say you use Money Guide as your software? I do use it as one of my softwares, but as I said, most of my work is done with on my calculator, and then I do check things on Money Guide besides another software also. So Jonathan, can you include the web links that Rajna mentions in the advisor? And thank you for suggestions, Catherine. Okay, if someone hits the lottery, for instance, any advice to save instead of blowing it all? Okay, Wendy, windfalls, yes, can be tricky to navigate financial windfalls. So, yes, most important advice here would be to hire a financial advisor and then make sure that they guide you through this instead of blowing it all. And yeah, and I mean, most of my clients think of me as the crazy lady who yells at us if we spend too much or if we don't invest wisely. So find someone who can do that for you. So they'll make sure you don't blow it all. Okay. You're welcome, Laura. You're welcome, Dominica. Okay, let's see if I can scroll down further. Okay, that is it, I think. I think we got everything covered, right, Jonathan?
Oh, that was fantastic. I actually have one question.
Yeah.
Could you describe to our patrons what the Advisors Give Back program has available for them?
Yes. So Advisors Give Back is a pro bono platform. I have been with them, I think, for a couple of years now, if I'm not mistaken. Certified financial planners from all over the country sign up to volunteer, and you can sign up on this platform for free and get connected to a certified financial planner. The first meeting is generally about half an hour. It's done over the phone. It's not in person. And you unfortunately can't pick the advisor you get matched with, because all advisors dedicate a specific amount of time on a certain day. So it depends on what time you sign up for. But nevertheless, we're all certified financial planners, and we're doing our best to help. And so please don't hesitate to sign up. And yeah, as I said, I enjoy working on the platform, connecting with people, learning about their goals, and yeah, it's amazing. Just get onto the platform, take a look at it, and sign up if you need help, or if you need assistance, or if you need to speak with a certified financial planner. If you just need, like I said, a sounding board, a second opinion, just go ahead and check it out. Can you say what the income asset limits are for Advisors Give Back? I don't think there's an income asset limit at all. This is pro bono. So for people who do want financial planning advice, and I mean, most people who sign up cannot afford a financial planner. So we offer our services pro bono on the platform, and there are no income asset limitations. Okay. Any more questions or you're welcome, Karen. My pleasure.
Someone asked, are advisors and planners the same thing?
I mean, there are different terms. I mean, a certified financial planner can call themselves a financial advisor. So they're just different terms. You have to check their credentials. That's what matters.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
Does anyone have any more questions?
Have you worked with people in Seattle? So no, I have not worked with people. I mean, pro bono, yes, I've been connected to people in Seattle, but not paid clients. Thank you for your time. You're welcome, James. Is it unusual for CFP to work with people on Social Security or low income? No, it is not unusual at all for a CFP to work, as I mentioned in my presentation. So there are it's not just for the rich people, financial planning. Everyone needs a financial planner. If you cannot afford to pay, then you should definitely sign up on Advisors Give Back. So it is not unusual at all, to answer your question, Wendy. I meant if my assets are too high, am I eligible? Okay, Emmy. I mean, they won't turn you back if you sign up on Advisors Give Back if your assets are too high. But yeah, if you can afford to pay a financial advisor, you should do that. How to contact the pro bono program? Okay. So Jonathan has just posted the link for Advisors Give Back where you can sign up. Okay. I'm trying to read through this. I think we are done. Okay. Is calable accounts part of I'm sorry, I don't follow that question. Is calable accounts part of the continuing education? I am not aware of that.
All right.
Okay.
If there are no more questions, I just want to thank you so much for joining us today. This was a really illuminating presentation. I think this is a topic that can be intimidating for a lot of people, and
Yes.
so it was really nice to get some clarity on what the financial planning process is, how to find a someone to help you, and yeah, all the questions you need to ask. Those are really important things.
My pleasure, my pleasure. And yes, so I do believe that everyone needs to be aware of what the process is to see whether or not it makes sense for most people to speak with an advisor. But yes, you have to know what you're signing up for, and you have to have suggestions on how to pick the right person for the job. So my pleasure. I believe in spreading financial literacy, and this was fun being here with all of you today. Thank you.
Thank you again. And for everyone who joined us today, thanks for showing up on a Saturday morning. And keep an eye out. We will be sending an email probably later today with a link to the recording and also a survey where you can give us feedback on this program and also suggest other topics that we can cover in the future. And it really helps us when folks fill out those surveys. So please, if you can take a minute or two to fill that out, please do. And also, if you have any other questions, reach out to us. Our department email is bizscitech@sfpl.org. I will put that in the chat before signing off. So thanks again, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.